Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman's World. So something a little bit different today. I thought I would give you guys a look at my gaming collection and just talk about something a little bit different. Like, I don't usually do gaming or, content like this, so I guess I would just share with you guys one of my other passions and just have a bit of a talk about it. Like, I consume a fair bit of gaming content. It's probably the biggest thing that I watch on YouTube. I don't really listen to politics on YouTube anymore. It's getting pretty lame, pretty boring. Kind of just over it. Bit of a burnout on that topic. But I just wanted to give you guys, like, what I have done here is actually incredible, right? And it just kind of happened. So have a sip of coffee. How cool is this coffee mug? How cool is that? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Gotta love it. But, okay, so, wow, we've just switched over to the PS4. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't even do that, but it's just automatically turning itself on for some reason. But yeah, so the amazing thing, which just kind of happened, and I didn't necessarily set out to do it, right, is I have just about every game I could ever conceive wanting from the 7th generation and lower, right, and earlier. So the 7th generation of consoles is the Nintendo Wii, the Xbox 360, and the PS3. So what I've gone and done is I've hacked that one. I bought that one hacked because to hack the 360s, I think there's two ways. There is two ways to do it. There's an RGH and then there's just can't even remember the other one. But this is the RGH. I'm pretty sure it is, right? So they call a reset glitch hack. And to do it, you need to open it up and muck around with like soldering a little thing in. I don't believe it's necessarily that hard, and the part's not necessarily that expensive, but for the price I got that, right, $200. The guy his name's Performance Mod Chips, if you want to look him up here in Australia. I think he's from Queensland, but I just found him easily on a quick Google search, looking up RGH to buy one. And that's got about 200 or so games on it, right? And pretty much anything that I would ever, really want to play on that system, I have on that system. And another thing is, like, yesterday I was just digging through some cupboards and stuff like that, and I found my original Xbox. I actually have a Halo edition, limited edition green, like transparent see-through green original Xbox, which is pretty cool, and it did turn on, so it does work. I was going to put it and have it set up, but then I realized, you know what? It's probably not even the ultimate way to play that system, right? So that's what I've focused on, right? With this setup that you see here, I've focused on having everything the best way of playing the game, right? So I do have a Nintendo GameCube packed away there somewhere. The GameCube is not the best way to play GameCube games. Even the Wii is not necessarily the best place to play GameCube games. I now believe the Wii U is. So this whole setup is sort of focused around retro gaming, old gaming, The most current system I have is the PS4 there, which that's the one that just turned itself on. And the Wii U. So I think they're technically part of the same generation. I kind of dipped out with what was it, after the 360, the Xbox One X, I think. I can't remember that. With the naming, it kind of got really stupid. I have this set up, although it's not the ultimate way to play it. I just wanted to do that. That's one that I just wanted to do, right? It's as much as anything, it's a bit of a project, right? And a lot of these have just been projects. So that one, the 360 and the Wii, are the only two that I bought pre-hacked, right? I hacked this one myself only recently, and part of doing that was I've got, like, now I can play with a wireless controller. I've got this little 8-bit do or 8-bit do thing there. So I can actually play this with a PS4 controller. Yeah, I find that actually it just feels right with a PS4 controller. I can plug up my Nintendo Wii U Pro controller. That syncs very easily too, but Yeah, PS4 controller with that, and it's got a hard drive in the back of it, loaded with about, I think there's like 150 games on it, or 250, something like that. So that's loaded full of games, that one. But it's not the ultimate way of playing PS2. It's okay. What I'm doing, right? So I'm still waiting. I've been waiting for like 2 weeks. You don't usually have to wait that long. So what I've done here, these are the standard component cables, right? But what they do with these original component cables is they jam all the RGB colors through one signal. So they reckon that you get a lot of like image blur and a color blur, and yeah, the saturation of the colors is not the best. So I got this upscaler thing. Now this upscaler here is capable of taking RGB, which is component cables, right? Whereas these are just RCA cables. They're just, yeah, they're the bad ones. Components are the good ones. I've got new ones coming out, so I'll be interested to see the quality of image I can get out of that. But one thing I did just this morning, right, is I hacked this one ages ago. It was like 3 years ago. Did that one all by myself, right? And then I actually forgot how to get back into it. Like, there's a specific sequence that you've got to follow to get into the game. So I must have forgotten which profile I'd used and which way to get in there. I remembered how to do it this morning, or I figured it out again how to do it this morning. But with these, like, I think you can load games off USB, but I have not managed to do it yet. But back when I did it, I do remember people were saying the easiest way is to just run your GameCube games off this. So what I was saying before about having things in the best way of playing them, that is probably, I've found, the most true way to play GameCube games. Now I do have this thing here, so that's the next thing I wanted to give you guys a look at. I'll switch that back to Batocera. You see I've got a Batocera input on my computer, and that is this. So that's all of that is on this laptop, right? So I've got look, I could run that off my PC, which is just below it. That's there's beefy, it's, you know, it's, yeah, got big graphics cards, CPUs and all that. But the one I wanted to show you here was, look, and this controller controls everything on that screen, but that controller is it's a generic aftermarket PS4 controller. They're like $17, really cheap. And it connects straight to that PC, which is kind of pretty cool. And it will control this. But, so, as you can see there, I've got GameCube, Sega Master System, Mega Drive, Dreamcast, PS1, 2, PSP. All these different emulators, right? And for pretty much anything, most 6th generation and lower is best on that, right? I've found. You get really good solid emulation. But some of the 6th generation, so PS2, GameCube, Xbox, can be a little bit hit and miss. Like sometimes you get frame rates and even a bit of screen tearing and just some minor pause glitches and stuff like that on this emulation. So that's what I was saying before. I actually believe for GameCube itself, that is the ultimate way to play it. I don't mind the image quality at all. Like, so a big part of struggling with these old systems is they output analog, right? So that outputs analog signal through these. Same with that. That natively outputs analog signal. You can get these little Wii 2, like that's called a Wii 2 HDMI. I'm not really that happy with the image quality I'm getting out of that. So what I actually did is I ordered some component cables for this. I'd be interested to see if it will improve the quality for the Wii. And that Wii has got 90% of the games on it. Again, for most systems, I've got multiple controller setups and everything, so I can play with my friends. I have friends come over relatively often and we'll just play, you know, different games. But what I've found, right, out of all these systems is the best would have to be PS3, Xbox 360, and I'm definitely leaning towards the PS3 being the better one. So I just have another sip of my coffee. It's getting cold. Yummy. But yeah, like the other thing that I wanted to talk about is, so we've had to talk about the systems that I've got and, you know, the ideology behind it, I guess, is sort of wanting to play the games in the the best way you can on a normal TV. So that would actually be another thing that I should touch on is CRT TVs, right? They're cathode ray tubes. I don't own this house here. It's not my own house. It's not actually a gaming room. It's my bedroom, right? So eventually one day down the track, I think I will get a CRT TV. And then I will probably set up all those old consoles that I was saying before I've got packed away. And then so I would want a CRT TV with native component cables in it. So you're not going to the just the standard RCA cables. So yeah, there's that. But for now, yeah, it's focused around a HD TV. And yeah, this thing here is really good. It can take a bit of setting up doing it the first time, but what I did with that, one of my friends, he's a bit of a computer nut, right? And he set it up so anything, yeah, basically he set it all up. So anything like 6th generation and below is full, right? Also 5th gen, so Nintendo 64, like there's full ROM sets of that on there. And that actually sort of leads into the next thing I wanted to talk about is ROMs and downloading games illegally, right? I've given it a fair bit of thought, and I know you can rationalize yourself into some pretty, bad things, right? You can make excuses as to why it's okay to do bad things, right? And I'm well aware of that, and potentially that's just what I'm doing, but I'm going to make my argument, right? Whilst I may not pay for these old games, for starters, even if I was to buy, like there's a really good example. There's a game that I've just found called Ark the Lad, right? There's no way I would have found that game or bought that game other than downloading it from a ROM site or wherever I got it, right? So what I'll do is I'll watch YouTube videos. I'm supporting people there, there's people that literally make a living out of making YouTube content and gaming content. So that's one thing, I'm supporting them. I'm buying hard drives, I'm buying laptops, I'm buying peripheries, I'm buying controllers, I'm buying cables, I'm buying things. If you know what I mean, like does that sort of make sense? Like I might not be supporting that one publisher that made a game that has folded, that made a game 30 years ago, right? And there's no legal way to buy these games anyway. A lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, right? But a lot of them, there's no legal way to buy them anyway. So at that point, it becomes into the point of preservation of artwork. I see these games as being art, and they're nothing short of art. A lot of them, especially some of these like classic Japanese role-playing games, the kind of games that I like. You've got hours and hours worth of fun to be had in them, and to just let that just disappear and die and lock that away from people ever being able to access that artwork, I think it's a crime. I think we should be able to play them. That's another thing I was thinking about last night. It should nearly be if something is unavailable to purchase in the country in question through legal means, then copyright should nearly not even, copyright laws should not apply. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so that game that I talked about, Ark the Lad, I've been having a bit of fun playing it. I've been playing it, I found it and I put it on the PS2 first. I was playing it, I found it there, and then I'm playing it on Batacera on my laptop because I'm just finding I get, I do actually really like the improved visual quality, so I'll give you guys a look at it. Where are we? And you can play, there's loads of settings that you can play around with. So here's this game that I've been playing. Another cool thing is you can do save states. So when and wherever you want, you can just quickly save it and then exit out. And you can go straight back to that point rather than having to get to... Oh, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I just overloaded my game. I pressed the wrong... I hate it when you do that. So... You idiot, Gunny. I think I might... Can I go back to another... Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so there's a load state and save state, and I saved instead of loaded. That's obviously I was not paying attention to what I was doing, but I might be able to select a different. So Shift and F2, Shift and F2. Oh, there we go. That one should work then, and then load that, and then F3 will load that. There we go. So that actually is where I was up to. Now the image quality is crystal clear and nice and crisp, right? Native HD, of course, so you're not on the PlayStation going to analog, coming out analog and then converting to digital. And then when we go into here, it just looks incredible. Like, look at the graphic. Like, that's a PlayStation 2 game, you know? Like, have a look at the detail. So they've all been, you can basically increase the internal resolution, right? So yeah, if you go back to the old, I can actually do it pretty simply. I can't bother, but yeah, you can go back and change it back to the original look if you prefer that, you know. But yeah, look, this video is getting a little bit too long, but it's just, like I say, I've set up this ultimate gaming station, right? And it's all accessible. That's another key thing, right? If I just want to play the 360, bang, press the button, it's on. Wii U, it's on. Wii. And like I say, anything that I could ever imagine that I would want to play, 7th gen, which is these, you know, Wii, 360. I mean, I should nearly go and get myself the Xbox One. It's nearly at that point where they're probably cheap enough and I could probably get a good bundle with a good collection of games, right? And I look, with those systems, I don't know if they've been hacked yet, but I don't really have any need to. But yeah, another thing is, even the Xbox, right? These games look incredible. Again, native HD, through the 360, whack the disc in, and they work. And then what I might even do is I can digitalize these. I can download them and then put them on an SD card, or sorry, on a USB. But yeah, here's finish off the video with a little look at my Lego collection. How cool is that, my old pirate Lego? I've got some more stuff over there too, but yeah. Anyway, guys, hopefully you've all been well. Until next time, get out there and play some games, I guess. Gunman out.